Hi everyone and welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Infinity War Black Widow from the Marvel Legends Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure wave. If we flip this round to the side, we can see an awesome image there of Scarlett Johansson, and coming around to the back, we have a very purple bio at the top, and then the rest of the figures in the wave. So, let's take this thing out of the packaging and take a closer look. And here's Black Widow out of the packaging, and this figure is actually a really surprising one because it does something that I was not expecting. I haven't seen any reviews of this figure, and obviously it's been out for quite a while now. It is an Infinity War figure, not an Endgame figure. But yeah, very, very awesome. In a way, the figure is inherently disappointing due to the design of the weapons and the movie and the fact that they didn't actually use them. But then also the weapons that are in her hands should have storage, and they don't. But let's start with those. So, what we have right here are her two shocker batons, or whatever they are actually called. Yes, you can hold them in both of her hands, and they are very secure, very nice. That's awesome. And they look really good as well with the nice silver paint job there with the black. They're slightly warped. That does kind of suck. I wish they were made out of a harder plastic instead of a more flexible one. But they can peg together, which is really awesome, so you can combine them to make a staff, just like she uses against Proxima Midnight, so that is really, really awesome. I'm extremely happy that they did that, but they are supposed to be able to store on her back, and, well, as you can see, you cannot do so. So these are really, really good, but then also they have a bit of a downside to them. It's not a deal breaker in any way, shape, or form, though, because, when you're not using them, I mean, you can just set them down to one side, it's no problem, but it would have been awesome to be able to put them on her back. So, really, really good. Execution not quite perfect, but still good. You also do have a pair of fists as well if you don't want these open hands whilst you're not using them. So if you just want a more vanilla pose, then that's great. You can go ahead and put fists on. That's really good. But now we come to the accessories that really, really baffle me. So down here you have the leg holsters, which look like they're going to be holsters for pistols. But no. This Black Widow does actually come with, leg holsters that hold something, unlike previous figures, so that is really good. But in this case, we get these little taser-looking things, and the end of them does look a lot like a taser. The actual thing has more silver paint to it, and then the kind of tasery end to it has a kind of brass or bronze or copper kind of a look. I guess it's copper. But the thing is, we don't get to see her use them in the movie, and, they're just in the holsters for the entire time. But in terms of an action figure accessory, I'm glad that they're here, but we don't get to see her use them in the movie, so we don't really know exactly what they're meant for. But they just don't look good. She holds them fine, but, I mean, who wants Black Widow holding a taser when she literally has tasers on her wrists already? Plus, they don't sit very deep into these holsters. I mean, they sit in there just fine. They're not going to fall out through regular play. But if you're taking this thing in and out of toy boxes and stuff, if you're a kid, you're going to lose them. And they're super small. They're going to get vacuumed up and stuff. So I don't think that they're the best accessories. I would have preferred pistols. However, there is a massive, massive saving grace to this figure. And to get to that, we're going to pop the head off. Now, this vest, it does look really good, I have to say. This is actually a removable vest, and it actually looks like it's the right size, the right scale. It fits and forms beautifully to the figure, and it doesn't look bad in any way, shape, or form, and it doesn't look like it's removable. But on the side, there are some tabs, so what you do is you pull it up over the... actually, it's probably going to be easier if I raise that arm up a little bit, and basically you pull it over the neck joint, which is not as easy as I just made it seem, but there we go. You get it over the neck, slide it off the arm, and there you have a regular Black Widow costume with the awesome Black Widow belt now being on display. We can pop the head back on, and there you go. This should work with your older Black Widow heads as well. The body looks fantastic. Now you're going to get... a really, really nice standard-looking Black Widow figure. So you basically get two figures in one, and I think this looks really, really nice. It is not a reuse of previous Black Widow parts, so you don't have to worry about that. And as you can see, as I was taking that off, I did just lose one of these. But yeah, I mean, I honestly think that it looks fantastic. And again, would have been really nice if we could have, had some holsters or something. You wouldn't obviously get them on the back of this because you wouldn't get the jacket on. And I do really like the look of the jacket, and it's a very unique thing. Like, when I think of Infinity War, Black Widow wearing this is one of the things that I think of. But in terms of my display and just having a Black Widow, I definitely do dig this a lot more. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to keep it in future. I might actually get a second one of these figures, so just pick one up cheaper off eBay without the Build-A-Figure piece or something, and so that I can have one with this and the blonde head, and then have a second one and either repaint the hair myself or just use one of the extra heads that I've got from the Winter Soldier figure, because that's got the shorter red hair, because I keep my Winter Soldier figure with the longer hair on it. Yeah, that should fit. In fact, it might even be the same head sculpt as that. I'm not massively sure. That one might have actually had slightly curlier hair. I have no idea whatsoever. But it should be the same size peg and everything, at least anyway. So, yeah, I think that is a massive saving grace for this figure in terms of accessories. So these things are kind of useless, and these you can't actually store on the figure like really they should, and you can't even put them in these holsters because they are blocked off at the bottom. So I have to say, this jacket is absolutely amazing and definitely does save the figure. So coming in close, that is 100% Scarlett Johansson. Awesome green eyes there, and we do have a slight bit of wash on the hair, which is fantastic and very much needed. Otherwise, it would look kind of more like a comic book character if it was just straight up blonde. The suit, we have a mixture of the kind of textured areas and then the glossy flat areas, which really, really does help break it up. And then you have a bit of grey in here for the straps and stuff. Glossy black on those wrist gauntlets along with the silver. So a lot of nice paint detail. They've even gone to the trouble of having the silver around the red on that buckle. It does look really, really nice. Again, with the glossy black down here at the boots. It looks fantastic, and the figure is very stable. She stands up perfectly fine. And I really do love the style of this holster as well, how it's kind of angled. One side is larger than the other so that it sits over the hips just like that. It's a really, really good looking figure, no matter how you look at it, and with or without the vest. As for the size of this figure, it stands almost 6 inches tall. She would be a slightly smaller character if it weren't for wearing these heels on, so I think that's perfectly fine. And as for the articulation, we have quite a fair bit, especially in this head. It can look very far up and down and left and right, and we have a good wiggle there as well. And that is obviously to accommodate the fact that over here it needs to articulate itself around this. The neck, I mean, I don't think it looks awkward at all. They've done a really, really good job of being able to, have some gap in there for that, but still make it look really good when it's off. So that is really, really nice. The shoulders, they move out to the side and rotate all the way around. Rotation here at the elbow, as well as a single hinge. Rotation and the hinge there at the wrist as well. And that's the same on those fisted hands as well. We have the rotation at the waist. It crunches forward and back just fine and pivots side to side. You have the hips that move out to the side. Obviously, the belt is not attached, so that does not hinder articulation at all. It does look kind of funky when it moves that far, but never mind. If you really wanted to, you could glue it down there, but it will put stress on this plastic. If this doesn't move, this where this joins up here, that might end up snapping if it's going to flex there all the time. So I'd recommend just leaving it as it is. But the fact that it's loose also means that you can move the legs forward and, well, it doesn't really move back, and rotate over here, and it's not going to hinder it at all, which is awesome. Then you have the double jointed knees, and then you have the feet that move up. Okay, well, yeah, the foot just kind of snapped off. This is also a tough one. I actually was going to move this one, and then I thought, now I'll use this one instead. This was also tough. Yeah, so both of the feet on mine are actually incredibly stiff, and yeah, I'm not moving that one in case that happens again. Now, as I did just mention, I'm going to get a second figure to display it differently anyway, so I have no problem with it. Well, obviously I have a problem with it. I've got a figure with a broken foot, but what I'm saying is I can glue it back on, and for me personally, I don't mind because I was going to buy a second one anyway. Yeah, mine has very tight ankle joints. Be careful of that. Yeah, so I'm just going to obviously move that down and glue that into place. That's no problem at all. But if more figures are having that issue, then yeah, that is obviously a pretty major problem, and you don't want that happening. But yeah, I can deal with that. That's not an issue for me personally. But yeah, I think the figure is amazing. I really wasn't expecting to be able to remove that jacket, like I said, and you can. So that is really, really fantastic. The proportions and the face sculpt and everything, it's honestly exactly what I would want out of a movie, Infinity War Black Widow. And having the different accessories that it does is really, really awesome, even if half of those accessories, being these taser thing down here, are kind of pointless. At least they're there. They went to the trouble of doing so, so fair enough. I just wish that they went to the trouble of, well, loosening up the ankles a tiny little bit before I got to them. I am pretty delicate with my figures, so yeah, if a kid had their hands on this figure, then definitely those ankles would have been snapped off straight away. So I hope other people aren't having that problem, and if they are, I probably would have been good to read about that before opening this figure, but you know what, whatever. I don't tend to watch reviews of figures that I already know I'm going to get, so that I'm not repeating what other reviewers are saying, and so that I go into it with my own honest opinion, instead of going into it and thinking of, just basically repeating what other reviewers are saying, and have them influence me. But nonetheless, I still definitely recommend that you pick this figure up. Just be very careful of those ankles. But as you can see, even without glue, this is no problem at all. But I literally have a bottle of super glue right next to me, so I can just move that straight away, glue it together, and that is no worries. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more from me, there's some videos on screen right now, and links in the description below. And for more Marvel Legends, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Have the feet that move up